Hey everyone, Randy here from LionDesk, and today we have a little bit of a free-form meeting. I got some special guests with us, and I'm really excited. And really, what we're going to talk about today is why video is so crucial to running a successful business, kind of like 2018 forward. If you're not in the video making or creating content utilizing video, now is a really great opportunity. And I got some subject matter experts, I would say, with us today. And we're just going to kind of go through why it's so important and talk about how to make videos, things to look out for, and why it's important. So I'm going to introduce, first and foremost, is Coach Dan Smith. We have us. Dan is a real estate coach for real estate agents and brokers. He was an agent. Dan, why don't you give a little introduction, and then I'll introduce Trevor.
Hello, everybody. So, that about covers it. I was an agent until 06, and then I decided to sell my company in a rather Nostradamus-like fashion. Closed escrow on that purchase in February of 07, about 9 to 10 days before the subprime meltdown. So I guess I timed it pretty well. Pure luck. I'm definitely not that smart. Not the sharpest tool in the shed, right? But I timed it right. Took a couple years off to enjoy life. And then I started getting into helping other agents, doing some consulting, doing some strategy, doing some business building. And I've been doing that now for, close to a decade. I speak all over the place, across the U.S., even internationally. And I'm a gigantic fan of video. I think video is the wave of the future. I think it's very underutilized by everyone. And so I guess that's about it. And I have a cool name today. I like changing my name everywhere I go. So today, my name on this little screen is The Real Dan Smith, because there's so many of us.
Yeah.
So that's the name of the day.
How did we get the real one? We lucked out.
Exactly. You guys got the real one.
So, Dan's been an agent. He knows what it takes. And Dan's wife, who I've had the pleasure of meeting, she also is just an incredible agent as well. Definitely people to, follow on Facebook and Instagram. You got to look out for them. And my next guest is Trevor Jones. Trevor Jones has an absolutely incredible story, but the video production and the level that the content that he's been creating in such a very short time is absolutely incredible. And that's why I had to have him on today. So Trevor, why don't you give everybody your little spiel?
Here's the short version. 1990, I got my degree in business administration, real estate. Didn't do a bloody thing with it. Thought, I guess this is a waste. I was a private investigator for 10 years, photographer. And then I became, I hated being a PI. You take statements, do reports. It was terrible. It was like being in English 101. I learned Spanish, so I was taking statements in Spanish. And then in 2000, I was a photographer briefly, and I started editing. And I just barely started to learn. I learned Final Cut. I got a job teaching it. Anyway, so I entered the entertainment industry 18 years ago and became an editor. I worked on trailers and TV spots. The last place I worked was 8 years, and I was doing creative content marketing movies for Disney and Marvel. The last thing I worked on was Thor Ragnarok. And it slowed down a little bit, got laid off. And 3 years previously, I got licensed. My wife is full-time. I was just kind of helping her. We say we were a team of like 1.2 agents. And I was like kind of on my way out the door. I was kind of done with the entertainment industry. It was a great gig, but I just hated being owned. I have this entrepreneurial spirit. I didn't like having to ask a guy 10 years younger than me. It's like, hey, is it okay if I go home early today for my daughter's this, or I got a kid in town or whatever? It's like, I hated that, even though they were great people to work with. And so I got laid off. I called the wife, and she's like, why are you calling me in the middle of the day? and I was terrified, but giddy, because I was planning on departing anyway. And they just kind of made it a little bit soon. Like, trust me, baby, we're going to do better. So I joined her full time. And so I've been full time for 8 or 9 months, and jumped all in on real estate. So I'm a full-time real estate agent. I spend, 60, 70 hours a week doing real estate. And I still I did voiceover too. I do a little bit of voiceover. I recently did something for The Incredibles, and I did some stuff for Microsoft. I do that on the side, but 99% of the time it's real estate. And fortunately, the wife's like great at the contracts and all the technical stuff. Like it's a little bit embarrassing. I mean, it sounds almost mean, but I tell my wife, like, I didn't know how smart you were. Like, the stuff I hear her do and say, it's like, wow, how do you know all this stuff?
Yeah.
She's an amazing baller real estate agent. And so luckily frees me up a little bit to make more video content. So I am all in on video. I love creating video content, and it's an incredible way to grow any business, especially real estate. Super easy to stand out because like nobody's doing it. You got like, as you guys both know, 90% of real estate agents are out of the business in 3 years. And of the ones that stick around, you got, 2% doing video, and doing video at a high level, like, nobody. So it's a great way to stand out. Anyway, enough about me. I talk too much. So just tell me to shut up when I keep rambling too long.
No. How boring do our lives seem, Randy?
I know.
Like, he's like, right? I was like a private investigator, like Magnum PI, right?
I was on Ragnarok,
I was on Ragnarok. I did voiceovers, like major Pixar commercial. Jesus Christ. Awesome.
It's so funny. Like, you get the snippets like, wow, that's amazing. It's like, oh, wow, that's all you got paid for doing a spot for The Incredibles for voice? It was like, really?
Yeah. So,
but still,
fun. I mean, the amazing thing, the interesting thing, right? Both of you guys were agents, right? And Trevor still is. I mean, you guys are the real estate agents, like they have to do so much, it's completely overwhelming, I think, for a lot of people because like, you are an independent contractor. You got to do lead gen. You got to know technology. Now you got to do video.
Wait, what's this lead gen thing you're talking about, bro?
Exactly, right? You got all of these different things. You got to do all the stuff that your wife knows, right? You just have to do so much, and you don't have that. And I get this question all the time. It's like, which direction should I go in, right?
Yep.
And that's that leads me into why we're doing this today. And I personally think that you can accomplish a lot of this stuff through video. And I think that now is such a great opportunity, and it's never been easier because costs have been driven down. So for you to compete today as a real estate agent, I personally feel, and I think a lot of other people that I talk to think that now is such an ideal time, even though there's a lot of noise being made, because things like cell phones, right? Everybody has them. Because of inexpensive platforms like Facebook and Instagram and all of these different places, you can deploy yourself into these people's living room where you couldn't do this 5 years ago and 6 years ago, right? You couldn't create your own reality television show and have an audience of 100,000, 1,000, or even 50. Like that cost tens of thousands of dollars. I mean, Trevor, you coming from the entertainment industry, I didn't even think about this. The costs that go into this stuff and what production companies used to spend, and you don't have to do that. I mean, they're shooting videos that are being released at theaters now with cell phone cameras, which is really, a crazy thought. So it's not that, it's just now is a really good opportunity. I thought that maybe we could talk about this and go deep in it. So what are your guys' thoughts on my commentary there?
Yeah, I think the cost is you're right. It's huge. It takes a little bit of understanding, a little bit of getting outside of your comfort zone, right? Because a lot of people are afraid of the camera. That's obviously the biggest complaint for most people is I'm not sure how to post it. And even if I could post it, I really don't like myself on camera. Check it out, everybody. If you don't like yourself on camera, you should look at me, right? From that point forward,
you're
right?
beautiful
No
to me, Dan.
From now on, you guys should not feel bad about going on camera, all right?
Right.
But you're right, because it used to be you either had to take out, ads in the little periodicals, the magazines, the home magazines or whatever, $1,000 a pop, or you would have to spend a ton on mail and maybe mailing, $400 to $500 to $600, 2 to 3 times a month to try to get a presence, or you would have to. There's so many things that were just so costly. How much does it cost to shoot a video that lasts 1 minute to 2 minutes? Nothing. How much does it cost to send that out to your database via email or post it on Facebook or on Instagram? Nothing. How much does it cost to edit that video now? Nothing. All the editing apps are free, right? So you can get the same content out for just about nothing. And then if you wanted to have a little bit of a budget and use a Facebook or a marketing tool correctly and drop a pin and market a geographic area, you can do that for $3 a day. Right? So $3 a day is a lot less, especially you can only just do it for one day. You don't have to do it every day, right? So the ability to get the content and yourself out there, and think about it, how much more powerful is you talking to the clients, leaving a message, being funny, entertaining, providing value, being different, than them looking at a postcard. than them looking at them looking at a magazine ad. So I think you're right. The
100%.
cost is so much lower today for people.
And it's ridiculous. I mean, you production companies are spending, TV channels are spending millions of dollars to push content out, your professional content out. And we have the ability for free, like Dan was saying, to hit the entire planet. I mean, we can blast the entire earth for free with yours. You don't even need a computer. From your cell phone, you can hit the entire world. And people aren't taking advantage of that. We live in ridiculous times, and people think, oh, it's too late because everybody's already dominated. Dude, the ship hasn't left the harbor. The ship isn't built. We are just getting rolling on this. Yeah. And we have 1.8 billion active users on YouTube right now. It's going to triple supposedly in like 5 years. If you jump on now, you are still in the beginning stages of this, and you can dominate. I mean, look out there. Look in your market. We're real estate agents, right? Or in the real estate space. Look out there. Just go to YouTube, go to Facebook, go to Instagram, and see how many realtors in your area are pushing out content every week. And it doesn't have to be great. Here's an inside secret. So when I was creating content for Disney, the direction we got just like a year and a half ago was, hey, make it more YouTube-y, make it look more organic. So they're taking these huge budget things and they're trying to make it look, you know what jump cuts are, instead of like, perfectly polished, so it looks, everything's nice and smooth. Jump cuts, make it look more like YouTube, less polished, simpler titles, simpler graphics. They're trying to make stuff look cheaper, basically, because people love that. More people are watching. The stats as far as the number of people watching online video versus network TV it's astronomical. The amount of content that's getting put out on YouTube is ridiculous. You don't need expensive stuff. So I was doing a shoot. I didn't do a shoot. I was editing some stuff like, I think it was Cars 3. And they had these kids, the movie surfers were just to promote it. They're going to like race cars at a racetrack that was near our production facility. And, we have the big, already expensive cameras for the main shoot. We're interviewing them. But you know what they used? They used GoPros on the cars around. And the stuff looks terrible. GoPros in low light look friggin' awful. And we're pushing that out on national and international TV. Right. So people think, oh, I got to spend all the money on the big camera. I need all the gear. I need the lighting. I need this and that. It's like, dude, you don't need this. This thing shoots 4K. It shoots 120 frames a second. This looks so good, it's ridiculous. And people think, oh, it's the camera. It's the camera. I watched. Dude, I'm a huge YouTube fan, as you guys may know and imagine. I watched a video on YouTube. Some guy mounted an iPhone on top of a $50,000 camera, and he shot this whole little sequence. You watch it on YouTube, you can't tell the freaking difference.
Yeah. Sports Illustrated did a thing 2 summers ago that they sent out all their photographers. I don't say that so weirdly. Photographers. And they shot the entire summer of the baseball season only on their iPhones. And they weren't letting anybody know it. And then afterwards, they were just did a bunch of polls. And what did you think of the videos and stuff? Because they're able to use iPhones and then use a free app to edit colors and stuff. Yeah. And the people had said they must have gotten better cameras. It's the best Sports Illustrated sports photos, baseball photos that they'd ever seen.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, right?
I mean, I agree. Like Trevor, like with what YouTube's doing, with what Facebook is doing, if you look at the growth chart, right, on those platforms, it's hockey sticks straight up and has been for the past 3 or 4 years. And we're even seeing that in the platforms. Like go to Facebook now versus, let's just say 3 years ago, it's like 90% video. I mean, they make you like, if you're going to just do a quote, you got to like have a big picture there with like, a color. So like everything is going in this direction, and we're just here to provide some value and a little bit of motivation to be like, hey, just get in, right? Like 1 is greater than 0. Just that very first video that you do is going to be so important. And don't worry about what you look like and what you sound like, because that's what you look like and that's what you sound like.
Guess what? Right? That's like, pretty normal.
Like I look a little purple today because of my light shade.
Yeah, people say, oh, I don't like how I look on video. Guess what? You look like that in person too, man. If you're a troll in real life, you're a troll on video, people know, they accept you for that. Own being a troll,
Yeah.
They don't think you're a troll. They just think that's what you look like.
Right. That's just you that thinks that.
Yeah. And back to your guys' point, like 2019, right? And this is from VidCon. By 2019, they're saying like 80% of all website traffic is going to be driven based upon video content, right? And so that's a really interesting stat. If everyone's spending all this money on PPC and things like that, that's great, right? But if all of this traffic is predicted to be driven because of video, because of the long-term benefits and the ROI that it's given, like, why not jump on this? Because it's so few people are. I mean, how many people really are, right?
Yeah.
Like, now is the time to get involved, right?
Oh, totally. And the thing is, people are like, they're like, oh, I don't know how to edit. I don't know what software. I don't know what camera. It's just start. Like, just pick. Everybody's got a phone. Pick up your smartphone and do live videos. I mean, you got Snapchat, you got YouTube Live, you got Facebook Live. You can post videos on Twitter, Instagram Stories. There is unlimited opportunity. Like, choose one of those platforms. Probably Instagram Stories might be the top dog in that world for live video, and just start recording. No editing, no music, no sound effects, nothing required. Just start. I mean, I hear one guy I follow on YouTube is Sean Cannell, and it's, done is better than perfect, is what he always says. Just start. Everybody's, especially in real estate, everybody gets ready to get ready. Oh, I got to get my logo, my branding, my business cards, and then I'll start prospecting and selling houses. Nobody went out of business because their business cards sucked. People got out of business because they're not doing business. They're not getting themselves out. They're not marketing themselves. They're not selling houses or computers or whatever they're selling. Just start.
There's I've been listening to some stuff lately, and there's been some polls or studies or whatever you want to use the word is, and I don't have the specific numbers, but I can tell you it's a preference. It's a majority that authentic, raw.
Yes.
I stumble. I spit on my. Whatever happens that I go wrong.
Yes. You lost your razor, apparently, Dan. It's like, we love that.
This is actually shaved for me. If anybody knows, this is pretty tight.
You look great.
So, but having those authentic, the wind's blowing, the sound isn't great. Yep. You're kind of just stumbling, bumbling, verbally vomiting on people, maybe whatever.
Yeah.
Just the authenticity of that, people tend to appreciate and watch longer than an actual 30 to 60 second produced piece. Sometimes.
Bam, that's great info, man.
But watching just somebody actually be live, and so you don't have to worry about, is it perfect, or the right outfit, is the sun in the right spot, all that. Just doing it, you're right. Just doing it is where the power is.
Yeah. Well, totally. So 30% of the time, right? And I'm pulling some of these stats from the VidCon conference. Like 37% of the time that people are spending online anyway is watching video, is actually consuming video. And you can even appeal to the lazy person, because think about, you're the agent and you're sending out the newsletter or whatever it winds up being. Yeah. Like, what about just a video, Hold on a second. I got a little thing going.
I'm going to take a picture.
Okay.
I'm going to take a picture. I need this to post anyway.
That's right. We should be snapping this. Or
we should be. See, so with all this time being spent online, right? All right, I'm just making sure. I'm trying to get like which direction I need to actually do this, right? With and again, going back to my point, like, instead of worrying about sending out this crafted email where people aren't reading anyway, like, why not use the ultimate business card, which is a video? Like, you guys put your faces on your business cards as real estate agents. Why not just start sending more people video? Get in the habit.
I've actually done that. So I've done
100%.
a digital video business card, Randy, because I speak a lot, right? So you can imagine if you're speaking in a room to 200 or 300 people, and then at the end, maybe 50, 75 come up and ask for your cards. And it's just silly, like giving out the cards. Here's my business card. And that thing gets lost, wrinkled, written for notes, whatever, by the end of the day. And then no one has to go back and actually input all of that data into their database and such, right? And it just kind of gets tossed. So what I've been doing is, when people come up and ask me for a card, I figure out, first of all, can I airdrop it to them? Because that's also, if I can just airdrop, I can airdrop the room. So I've come up with a digital 10-second video business card.
Love it.
That I can airdrop to people. And if I can't airdrop it, then I at least get their cell phone and text it to them. I got,
that's brilliant.
Think about it. If you're trying to capture contact information or whatever, or get it held onto. So yeah, using even video as a business card, using video as an email, because, you get through the first 3 lines of an email, right? Pretty much using that. It's just so much like sexier and more fun.
Engagement.
And engagement and differentiating. You got to be different in this industry. You have to differentiate yourself from everybody else. And how easy is it to do that using that kind of a tool?
100%. Dan, I have a question for you. Were you this good at speaking? I mean, you're speaking off the cuff right now, and obviously you're super comfortable. Did you start out that way?
Actually, that's a great story. I don't even think Randy knows this. So the very first time that I spoke, so I decided I wanted to be a speaker. So I'm done selling, and I've started doing some training and coaching. I'm like, it'd be cool to speak in front of rooms and to be able to train them. That would be awesome.
Which is terrifying for most of the world.
I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to do that, right? And I thought I would love it and do it. So the very first time I went up into this room, and I don't know, maybe 50, 75 people were in the room. And I started getting really red. And I think I was probably red. And I definitely was starting to sweat a little bit early. And then they called me up, and I went up in front of everybody. And no shit, like literally, I basically passed out. Right? I was just so right? I was like, leaves were falling. I was like hyperventilating. I was like, I could get like one sentence out and one word out in 4 breaths. It was a hot mess. Right? And so I got off the stage and I was like, well, I cuss a lot. Sorry about that. If you guys are watching this, it's just my thing. I was like, oh my gosh, I really suck at this. Right? I got to re-examine what I'm going to do with my life, because being a public speaker might not be the right thing to do. But you know what? I practiced it, and I decided I started doing groups of like 2 or 3.
Right.
And then I grew it back to like 10, and then 20.
Were
and
the
then
first 2 or 3 like your dogs and cats?
Oh, yeah. And it was horrible. But thank you for the compliment that I'm getting better at speaking. And so, I was in Dubai a month ago speaking at the World Real Estate Congress, and it almost happened again. And it's been years now. But so it was the first time. There's about 1,000 people in the audience, and about 800 of them had headphones on. And over on the right, there's booths that say Arabic, German, French, Japanese, Chinese, Russian. And so they're all, because it's an international event, they're all translating what I'm saying into the headsets, and everyone's got their own individual headsets. And so when I got up in front of that room to speak, I was a little overwhelmed again. First time it's happened in quite a while. And I took a drink to chill myself, and I swallowed it wrong. So then I have a coughing fit on stage, right? And no shit, like some sheik comes running up, like, and hands me a bottle of water.
Saved by a sheik.
To give me he was literally like His Excellency type thing going on, right?
That's
and hands
amazing.
me a bottle of water to get it down. And so after that, I had 28 good minutes. But the first 2 minutes, again, man, just stuff happens, right? You just got to push through it and keep going.
That's a great story, man. It's like, get on. And what made you better, though? Why are you better now, Dan?
Just practice over and over, and failing and like, oh, that was really bad. And sometimes I'll test out new jokes in front of an audience, and I'll be like, yep, don't use that one, just like a comedian does, right? Don't use that one anymore. The whole room looks at me, or like, okay, mark that off the list, or wow, everyone really laughed. I got to use that every time. Yeah. So just practice and learning and getting better and growing. And when people leave videos, I have lots of clients who are doing videos on a regular basis. Their first couple of videos were just horrible. But you know what? People didn't mind. You look at their comments, you look at their likes, you look at the interaction that they got. People didn't care. They were bad, but people didn't care. And now as they're doing it more and more and more, they're getting pretty polished. And that's just what happens. The more you practice, the more you just freaking do it, the better you'll get, right?
100%.
What's amazing about it is the leverage, right? And I had this I had this point. It was like the very first and second time that I made a video, right? And I put them on YouTube and I put them on Facebook, and this is about a year ago. And I scripted it and I went through it and I said a lot, and it wasn't the greatest, right? And I put them out there, and I was a little disappointed at first because like only the first week or two, like 20 people watched it. A month went by, we had like 150 views. 4 months went by, and it just kind of started creeping up, and I was like, man, I thought that I was instantly going to have tens of thousands of views, right? And it didn't work out that way. And somebody brought it to my attention. They go, Randy, you know how long it would have taken for you to get that 2-minute message out to 300 people? How many calls that I would have had to make to set appointments to actually deliver that message? And that was my tipping point mentally. I was like, the leverage that it can apply to your business. Don't worry about the 10,000 views. Worry about the 10 and 20 and 30. And if you're an agent, right, and you're blasting your video up to a specific subdivision or something like that, if 20 people watches, 2 minutes, you know how long it really would have taken you to actually convey that message, to do that sales pitch, to show people the interior content of your open house.
Yep.
For me, that was it, right? Like that's where I understood. And when I'm talking to people, about the power, inside of LionDesk, using the video email tool, using the text message video tool, just get it out there. Like, I mean, you can literally reach everybody and people will watch it, and people retain way more content when it's consumed via video than they do versus reading it.
And that is one way I use LionDesk. I send an email to our entire database twice a week. I do Monday morning, like Monday morning motivation kind of thing, and a Friday what's happening thing. So here's what's going on for your weekend. And in almost all of them, I will link to a video I've created that week. And you have no idea. Like I'll see old guys in the gym and they're like, "Hey, I saw your corny video." It's like the 75-year-old dude's like watching our videos. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Just get out there. People know you're real. I mean, there's our very first open house. There's a guy named Tom. I think he was the only guy that showed up at the open house. And we still haven't sold his house 3.5 years ago. But this dude still watches our videos. Like I can see in LionDesk, you can see who's clicking on your links, You can see this guy. I'm going to sell his friggin' house when he finally pulls the trigger. He's old. Him and his wife are like slow to move. But it's constant follow-up, and it's one more way to get in front of people. And obviously the best way to network with people is face-to-face. But number 2 is what? And when people watch your videos, it's like they know you. You watch TV and you feel like, you watch 24, back in the day. Oh, I know Jack Bauer. It's like we're buddies, You're friends with these guys. I know them. People see your videos and you become the local celebrity. They're like, "No way, I'm talking to you. I can't believe it." People
that's a great
love it.
point. That's a really good point. You're the local celebrity. And you know what helps make you the local celebrity? Everyone else's fear. Okay,
Right.
Because not only are other agents or other professionals afraid to use the technology of video, but even the people you're doing it with their own friends and everything, are afraid to use video in a capacity. So just the sheer fact that you've been able to conquer that fear, without saying those words, but that's in their head. They're like, "Wow, he's so brave to get on video and to put this content out there and to constantly be there." So they, even though it's just like done right on this, or maybe even have a little bit nicer version of that, but it's still done very inexpensively. They think of you as the movie star. They think of you as the local personality, because in their heads, no one else in their right minds would be brave enough to do this.
Yeah.
And so again, it's just a huge differentiator, because they think of you like that, because you were the person willing to take a step outside of your comfort zone and actually do it. And it separates you from practically the rest of the competition.
Totally.
Yeah.
And take advantage of that. One great way to leverage that every realtor should be doing, do B2B interviews, interview other business owners. What a way to leverage yourself. You interview, like we just interviewed an electrician, this guy named John Williams. And I just put the video up actually last night. We interviewed this guy, and he has a bunch of raving fans out there. I posted on Facebook. I think I have 2,000 views in like 24 hours on Facebook. I uploaded it natively to Facebook, posted it in a few groups and on timeline and stuff. 2,000 people like, "Oh, Dad, John's the best." And then he's going to share it with his people, and it just creates this synergy. You just doubled your database by sharing a video, and it's like a 3-minute video about this guy just talking. And we try to make it, instead of just like boring, "Hey, John, why should people use you?" We had him engage, and he did some work at our house and stuff. You just try to make it a little bit fun, but do B2B interviews. It's a huge, huge way to leverage yourself.
Yeah, like if you think about the leverage, and everybody here, everybody that ends up watching this video, there's people online right now who we feel like we know, right? You look at people like Gary Vee or Andy Frisella or Cardone, right? Any of these guys, they've just put themselves out there utilizing video, and now they have huge followings because people feel like they know them. And whether those people you connect with or not, maybe it's Lady Boss, or there's a million celebrities, like internet style celebrities, people that do cooking shows.
Casey Neistat is my best friend.
Yeah, exactly. Casey's a great example, right? If you met Casey on the street, you would feel like you know him. He just does so much that...
And he would run away.
We might run away, right? We can go to Chinatown in New York, right? Be just having a cocktail in the Village and see Casey. You feel like you know him. So agents, if you get comfortable and you dominate a market, like Dan's wife is an example. She's really focused in on a handful of neighborhoods, I believe. And by leveraging video, like if you just own these 4 or 5 subdivisions and it's just your videos being deployed specifically there, you can own it because very few people are going to compete with you there. And again, you don't have to have a high production. Just be you and don't try to sell, storytell. And that's one thing that I love about Trevor's videos is stop selling and start storytelling, right? Start bringing value to people.
Yeah, that's huge.
Right? The neighborhood, the community, the block parties, the garage sales, the electrician, the local restaurateur that's a great place to take your wife on Friday nights for dates, right? Be that ambassador and storytell. And Trevor, like, I think that this is a great place for you. Like, how you storytell with your videos it's not even about necessarily the story. It's like how you portray it is just absolutely incredible. Like, how do you just don't do that on the whim? How do you do that?
I appreciate that. Actually, I'll talk about that in a second, but the most inspirational person to me in the last month on YouTube is a realtor named Karen Carr.
God damn it. It's not me.
It's besides Dan, you're not an active real estate agent. Otherwise, it would have been you.
Okay.
But she records her videos with an iPad, a $60 mic, and a couple crappy umbrella lights. And she started a year ago. She decided to be intentional about, Google, keyword strategies and, SEO with her videos. She makes these simple videos, simple production. I think she edited them in iMovie, and 75% of her business is directly from YouTube, not paid Facebook, not pay-per-click. People are calling her up going, hey, I saw your videos. Wow, I can't believe I'm talking to you. Come list my house. She gets several calls every week. That's 75% of her business recording with an iPad. I mean, that's the value of it. And so I took a cue from her because she's killing. She's actually speaking at Inman, and this is a girl that's recording her videos on iPad. She's talking about video. So look her up, Karen, Karin, Carr, Carr. So I'm inspired by her, even though I've got this big, movie background, What I do for my videos is, and what I'm starting to do more is, the trick is you want to research it, and I haven't, so this is what I'm going to do, and combined with what I do. The trick is to research it beforehand. You want to go into YouTube and type maybe your city name, Simi Valley, see what comes up, town center, maybe it's them all. And then the first 10 things that pop up in the YouTube search bar, as you guys I'm sure know, are the top 10 most searched terms for Simi Valley. So do a video on Simi Valley Town Center. And then I'll do and I haven't done this yet, but I'll do a little research. Like, okay, what's interesting about the Simi Town Center? Oh, all the businesses are leaving. Maybe that's interesting,
That's huge. That's a great tip.
Great.
Figure out what everybody is looking at, and then just go do your own on that topic.
You do your own. What are people actually typing in Google and YouTube? Do a video around that. Do a little research, and then I always make an outline. Now, if you freeform it, if you're doing a live thing, it's great to freeform. If you're doing something that's more produced, you want to research it a little bit, and you research it, and I bullet point it, and then I deliver. I'll look at a line. And I'll deliver it in my own words. Look at something, deliver it in my own words. I tried memorizing the whole thing, 2 minutes, fail. I got a teleprompter for my iPad, and it looked like I was reading, and it was awful. And you can see how their old videos, our first videos were terrible, and now they're a little bit better. And then you edit out all the ums and ahs. Remember I said jump cuts are okay? It's okay to record something, look away, figure it out, stumble through it, and then cut out the ums and ahs and have it be a little bit jumpy, little jump cuts. It's fine, so it's smooth. People get bored quick, man. You got 2.7 seconds to grab them. They're scrolling through their Facebook feed. If you're not like, whoa, full animated, full of life and energy, or have something super interesting to say, if you don't hook them in the first 3 seconds, they're done. A goldfish has a 9-second attention span. With social media, we got 2.7 seconds.
Yeah,
so you got to be amazing. And then my flaw is I come from an editing background. So I spend way too much time crafting. Now, here's inside scoop from my other world, my flaw there. I was the fastest editor in the shop, but guess what I didn't do? Guess what I got called out on the carpet for by my producer? He's like, and I've never said this publicly. I'll probably say it again in some other video. But Harry takes me aside. He's like, hey, Trevor, Matt, another editor's, he's a great storyteller. He's a filmmaker. You're pretty fast, but you're no Matt. Basically is what he was telling me. So it took me and he said it a tiny bit nicer, but not much. He was pretty direct, and I'm pretty direct. We have the same birthday. But he's like super direct. And it's like, whoa, that got me. And sometimes it takes getting smacked upside the head and failures to make you go, whoa, story is king. And now I know, like, story is king. You got to tell stories. So the most important thing you can get, like I talk about, like I've got a YouTube channel where I talk about lighting and how to make videos for realtors and all that junk. But the very, very most important thing is, like Randy was saying, is story, 100%. I'd be cutting a 15-second spot for the Avengers, and it's like, Trevor, you got to tell a story. And I'm like, dude, it's 15 seconds. The kids watching this on Disney XD, they're 8 years old. They just want to see things explode, It's like, well, first of all, we can't show explosions on Disney XD. And second of all, you got to tell a story. So I fought these guys. I fought these professionals in the industry. And it finally took, me getting called. That was a couple years ago. They called me out of the car. Like, Trevor, you got to tell a story. You want to stand out, tell a story. They don't care if it's on an iPhone. Your story is interesting. Plus, I remember I made a video. I don't know even what it was. And a friend of mine that I knew from childhood, he's on the East Coast, and he saw my video. He was like, dude, your life is way more interesting than mine. And I went back to look at the video. It's like, I went to the gym, I ate breakfast, and I, did nothing. I went to work, it's like, that was my video. And because there was a little bit of story, and because you're taking, if you're like doing vlog style stuff, you're taking an entire day and condensing it into a minute, everybody's life looks amazing,
Totally.
But tell a story. And the trick is, and you can watch these guys, they say, figure out what is your video about. If you're just, if you are just like going, I had lunch, I had breakfast, that's going to be super boring. But just find out, it's like, dude, today I found the coolest restaurant in the world. Let me show you it, Tell a little bit of a story, and you're going to suck people in.
And I think that's important, right? Because the storytelling aspect. I think sometimes we think too broad-based. So how do you tell a story that will appeal to everybody?
Yeah.
I think we got to narrow the scope sometimes. Aim small, miss small, right? So don't worry about the entire zip code necessarily, or the entire county, for goodness sakes. Like narrow in on a tract or a subdivision or a neighborhood, and aim for them and have that message be on them, and do some research about that neighborhood and have it be like, everybody else might be like, yeah, it's a video, we like it. But man, the 50 or 60 or 80 people who are in that area that watch it, that's going to really resonate with them. That's going to be memorable to them. And so when you're getting into Randy talked about my wife, right? But I believe when you're getting into doing video, and we do get into doing storytelling, we have to have this. I heard somebody say these words, and I think you have to integrate yourself into the DNA of your community, right? You have to be part of the DNA of your community, that when they think of the community, they think of you. And you can't do that necessarily over a whole zip code or city or county, but you can do it in these pocket areas. And if you look at the business being done in these pocket areas, there's plenty of business done to be making a couple $1 million.
Oh, dude.
And
totally.
so instead of being so broad sometimes, don't be afraid to focus and really ingrain yourself into their DNA.
I heard a great quote. It says, the riches are in the niches. Everybody wants to be the agent for everybody. And my obsession is kind of YouTube. So I watch a ton of YouTube videos on like how to grow a YouTube channel, which is the same way you grow a real estate business. You identify who is your target audience. You can't be the realtor for everybody. You've got to be the realtor, like you said, for a specific neighborhood. Be the industry expert in that neighborhood that's got the $1 million homes. In our office, the top guy, he's like, dude, so far his GCI as of April was like $400,000, right, in our office. And what does he do? He's not the realtor for like the entire 2 counties. He's in one area. He's got one small city that he's specifically targeted. I actually talked to him in the hall the other day. He's like, yeah, I was in this other area and realized like, whoa, those are $2 or $3 million homes. So I started targeting that specific area. And a lot of people think, and even my wife thinks, no, we can serve the whole county. We can serve the whole state. We can refer everybody. It's like, no, you gotta niche down. Whether it's in real estate, choose a community. And if it's on YouTube, it's like, who is your target audience? Speak to them. There's an audience for everything. And like that Karen I was telling you about, she said she doesn't care if 50 people watch her videos. it's like, all you need is one phone call and you make 10 grand, you know? Right. It's like, we're in this ridiculous business where, you know, on YouTube, you need like 5 million views to make $5. You get one sale, and my market is like $12,500 for one sale. So target, niche, man. You're 100% right, Dan.
And even narrowing down more so, right? Like let's say you're doing an open house, right? Like you don't need to show the hallways, right? Like maybe they have a really cool bar in the basement, or maybe, you know, the pool is just, you know, there's a little grotto, or, you know, whatever it is. Like you can focus in on one or two key elements in a house and highlight that as the story, right? Like, you know, the homeowners actually, you know, they built this custom, they did XYZ. This is why it's so awesome, right? All the kids in the neighborhood want to come to the pool all the time. Like this piece, whatever, is perfect. I mean, this isn't new. MTV Cribs was on a long time ago. We can do the same thing, right? Like nothing is new. We're just recreating it. And this is giving you the power, the agent, not MTV. And not every house, you know, is 10,000 square feet and, you know, there's 6 Lambos or whatever, but you can.
All the houses I sell are, but you know, step up.
I've got a client who we came up with an idea a couple months back, and he's been doing it, and he's been having great success with it. So think about this, and I think everybody who watches this could replicate it, and it still wouldn't be like duplicated in each individual market, probably, right? So not every, but 99% of the videos that real estate agents take while showing the homes last between 2 and 3 minutes. And they go through and they're like, and here's the bathroom, and check it out. You know that, guys, they saw the toilet. All right. So they're really aware that it was a bathroom. And they're like, and this is the kitchen. I can tell because it has a stove. Right. So instead, and it's just, you walk through the house, and I'm walking down the hallway, and it gets dark and then light, like you said, Randy, right? So what he's been doing is, it's an interaction has been so great, is he actually goes through and like uses the house, right? Oh. He's kind of a screwball. He'll hop in the bathtub in the bathroom and be like, check this out. He's laying down in a bathtub, fully suited up with the phone, right? And then he gets out and he runs into the bedroom, and he just like Supermans into the people's bed, right? And he's like, man, check it out if you were here. And now people watch that. That's some fun shit to watch right there, because you never know what he's going to do. Right? Yeah, it's full clickbait. He's out in the backyard, and he's like yelling. He's like, ah! He's like, see, no neighbors. This is great. Look at all this spice you have, right? But it'll get people to watch because it's fun. Here's the bathroom.
That's brilliant. I love it.
He's been having some really good results with that.
Did you see that video where the guy that was doing there's a dance thing. I can't dance at all. Where a guy went and he did some dancing.
Yeah. I
heard you could dance. As a matter of fact, I was thinking you should dance right now.
Yeah, I can't do that. When we're in public and I start to dance, my wife stops. She's like, no, just stop.
You're like dancing
me.
He sold Tony Stark's house, you know, like Dan's hanging out with the sheiks in Dubai, and Trevor over here sold Tony Stark his house. Right?
Yeah, I wish.
Video. Crazy. All right, I'm going to start wrapping it up, so we are coming to an end, you guys.
What? But it's so fun.
I know. I could jam with you guys all day, and this is a total freeform, which I love. So there's a couple things. Like, I want to leave everybody with some stuff, right? Aside from just getting started, just do it. You know what I mean? Like, make a video, send it to your community, whatever. You know, something that I recommend is buying a couple little tools. It might make the job easier for you. A selfie stick. Right? On Amazon, they're like $9. Like a Gorilla Pod, which is like Trevor, you probably got one handy. It connects to your phone or your huge camera like this. And that is, so everybody's got these things, right? So these are all cheap things you can buy on Amazon. They will help you, right? You can walk up. A light, some type of light. You can buy it on Amazon, like
$40.
Exactly. You
know, or like one of those ring lights that you can plug on and put over the top.
The ring lights.
Those are like $20 to $30.
And you can also go on places like Fiverr and Upwork, and you can find editors if that's just not your thing. You can find editors that'll work on an hourly basis. So if you create a little video, you can give it to some editors. They'll spice it up for you for $20, $50, $100. And don't think, you got to think about the long-term play of that, because that's an asset that will continuously generate views, activities, and awareness to your brand. It's not like buying Google ads where you put $5 in, and as soon as $5 is gone, it's gone, right? You no longer show up. that's on YouTube or on your pages or social media. That stuff lives forever. So people will continuously watch it. So those are my little words or takeaways, from this. Do you guys have anything you want to leave with the guys, the people to take away?
Just one little thing. Like if you look at like 90% of my videos, I had a big Canon camera, which was a big pain to use before I got that one. I got there. But like 90% of my videos on my YouTube channel were done on my iPhone. So you don't have to go crazy. And as far as lighting, the best lighting is free. Like sit in front of a window, record free. The mic, I do voiceover. I've got a $1,000 microphone that I use for voiceover. You know what? If I record and my phone is this close to my face on YouTube, no one's gonna be able to tell the difference. The phone on this thing is, the mic on this thing is fantastic. If you're in a non-echoey space, outdoors or not in a bathroom. So you've got the tools. I mean, and once you start doing it with the free stuff, level up, get a few things like the stuff that Randy just talked about. He talked about like $100 worth of stuff to level up your game a little bit. It doesn't take much to start, man. You just got to start.
Dan?
Mine would be, real is better than polished.
Yes.
So, I think real is better than polished. I do that thing that I've been doing. I started a couple weeks back called Car Coaching Chronicles. Right. So I'm in my car and I do a little coaching session while I'm driving. And I'm on the road.
I love it.
And every once in a while I'll have, I put my kids on, right? Cause I'll be taking them to school or something. And so I'll be doing like life lessons with them and be like, hey, what do you think about this? Or tell me what your thought is on this, or success or discipline. Right. And man, sometimes the answers they give me are just horrible. And I'm just like, wow. So this interview is just going completely sideways. Right. So what can we learn about success based on?
Well, that's entertaining though. That's fun.
And those are the ones that get the most, rather than me like being behind a green screen and suited up and, whiteboard behind me and being like, okay, everybody. So this
I'm a professional.
How you're going to lead generate. Right. It's those kind of things and it's the topic goes sideways. And I got to turn and I go off camera for a second. People love that. So just don't be afraid of polish. Authentic, real. That's where it's at for people. That's what makes you believable, real, somebody they can trust, somebody they can relate to.
100%. Like my wife and I, we did a lot of stuff together. We did a lot of our, like the market updates we did together. And dude, we're husband and wife. So I'm kind of a jerk to her sometimes, and she takes it back. But I'll put those in the outtakes. People are like, whoa, they're a real couple. Trevor's a jerk, whatever. But people love that stuff.
Love it. All right. Awesome. Lastly, where can people connect with you guys? Obviously, Trevor, is it your YouTube channel?
The best place I have two YouTube. I have a YouTube channel for our business, which is Trevor Jones, or youtube.com/Jones Home Collective. That's so you can see all the stuff I do for my business. I also have a YouTube channel where I teach realtors to use video for their businesses, which I just started. It was 7 weeks ago. And that is youtube.com/Trevor Jones Creator. And all my other links are down in any of those videos.
Perfect. And Dan?
By Dan Smith. That's like B-Y, not B-U-I. I'm not for sale. Well, I am at the right price, but not typically. So by Dan Smith, pretty much everywhere. ByDanSmith.com, by Dan Smith on Instagram, by Dan Smith on Facebook, Twitter, in all areas. Just go to by Dan Smith or bydansmith.com for the website, and you'll be able to find me and follow along and have some fun.
Perfect.
I'm going to do that because I love you already, Dan.
Yeah. And me or us, obviously, LionDesk.com. We have a LionDesk YouTube channel.
Those guys rock.
Instagram.
So good.
We do a lot of video, right? Video, email, video marketing. That's kind of why we're talking about this. But
I've recommended you guys to 1,000 people. I've gotten you lots of business because LionDesk is amazing. It's unbelievable.
Here comes the pitch. The
right? Stuff you get for that price with LionDesk, like nobody can match it. Yeah. It's amazing.
Like hundreds of dollars with anybody. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, I don't know how you do it.
Very, very grateful for all of our advocates and the people that we serve. So again, thank you guys. I really appreciate your time today. And anybody who's watching this, we hope that we brought you some value today. As you see, there is nothing for sale. We just wanted to share, the importance of video today. So again, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a great day.
Have a good one, everybody.